Hey folks, welcome back. Making another one of these videos. Honestly, the last one was honestly pretty successful. To everybody that is new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate your presence, it means a lot. Listen to a bloke like me just talk about stuff. Now, I just need to find an exit way here, so give that a second. Now, what I really wanted to discuss today is the desire to be seen and the difference between desire to be seen and loneliness. Because I think I mix up loneliness with wanting to be seen. Ooh, that was silly. That's it's so awkward to move around with the mouse like this. I think we didn't sustain very much damage though. But check both sides of the roads, folks. Main reason I'm doing this is actually because I'm still learning to drive. I'm pretty confident now, but I do this because it makes me more confident. Because usually I drive without many distractions, but talking at the same time kind of simulates like I'm having a conversation with somebody, right? Which would be you guys. Now, what I really wanted to talk about today is, like I said, the desire to be seen and the difference between that and loneliness. Because I've been thinking about it for a while, and I don't think I really am lonely by standard definition. I think what I crave more than anything is understanding, to be seen, and what on earth is going on here? But to be seen. However, that just is such a peculiar thing to ask for, because to be seen is to kind of be acknowledged, right? But with loneliness, you want company, and company can be enough. But for me, the reason why I feel such a way, why I feel so alone, I'm gonna go to a different road. I feel like what I wish for is to be acknowledged, in a sense. I would like for somebody to see what I've grown through, what I've been, and the phases of my life that I have gone through to get here. How much I've grown, how much I've developed. And maybe someone out there feels a similar way, where they wish that somebody saw them grow. But the more I reflect, the more I think about what happened in my past, which I'm not going to delve into, because I feel that as if all the growth and all the struggles that I've been through are something that I wish to share. Not just the struggles, but the joy, the passion, the happiness that I felt. I sometimes wish that I had a person to share it to, or moreover, I was better at sharing the joy that I felt. Sometimes I feel out of place in the most familiar places, like my friend group, for example, which I'll always bring them up. But it's familiar, yes, but I don't feel understood, or nor do I feel seen in this group of people. And sure, I might voice how I feel and my issues, but nothing really happens. Nothing really changes. And I feel like to be seen is to be acknowledged, for somebody to know your situation and go like, yeah, I heard what you're going through, and that sucks. Or I heard what you're going through and I'm happy for you. But that's so unfamiliar to me that I almost don't know how to speak on it. It's so alien and so strange that I don't really know how to even go about it. Usually with these kind of videos, I feel like I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm gonna say, but here it feels more like I'm asking you guys for an answer, because I don't think I'm lonely, and I think I have plenty of people that I can talk to, and nowadays I do, but I don't necessarily feel seen either. And I think a part of that is my fault, because there was a whole kerfluffle. I'm not gonna go into depth with it, but it kind of changed my outlook on myself and what I say. Because I used to feel like I could speak about who I was and my issues and yeah, and I'd feel better, but now I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like that my issues are not something that people would try and assist me with. They were just an observation. I don't necessarily want to be left behind, I suppose. I don't think many people would like to be left behind. That's just human. Who would want to be left behind in any story? I was a kid that everybody would pick last in class when they like paired up with their buddies and freaking went on with their days. I was always the last kid that they picked because
Somebody asked me if I'm autistic. I'm autistic as shit.
I suppose I was alone back then. And despite having my crowd, I still feel I still feel this way. Water break. Drink some water, guys, if you haven't today. Water's good for you. It actually makes you happier. I think. I'm just pulled that out of my butt. I think it is. Now that I think about it, I think it might be a combination of both feeling lonely and feeling or wanting to be seen. It's a bit of both. Because I think the desire to be seen is cause of the way I measure my worth. Because for a very long time, I measured my worth based on how much another person saw me, how much another person valued me. And I'm learning, because I know that it's obviously not true, that you can't base yourself off another person's value, how much you mean to someone else. Because that's the way I used to live. But times have changed, and I've realized that, yeah, I have to fend for myself, I have to grow, and I have to be strong for myself. And that's kind of what these videos are. These are almost like a journal in a sense, for me. And I know I'm blabbering on, I'm just yapping, but if you're listening, I appreciate it, as per always. I think it innately comes from that long-rooted, I guess, how I grew up. Because I think my parents, they're wonderful blokes, don't get me wrong. But I feel that they measured my value based on how much success I found and the end results. I can't necessarily think of an example, though. But there's a lot of pressure for me to work hard and do good. And I suppose it's a barrier I made in my head, that I only felt worth. Sorry, there's a notification telling me to work out soon. There's a lot of worth that I locked behind, and I made it up, this little wall, I suppose. That my worth is based on how much, I just suppose, success that I find from life. And that sounds very vague, but I mean more so like, do good on tests, get a job. What else is some pretty standard stuff? Anything industry related, or educationally related. I felt like that's how my worth was based. The end results. That's the better term. The end results. And that's how I measured my worth. And I think because of that, now I've changed that. I want somebody to be able to see how much I've tried to grow, how much I've tried to put effort, and how much I've tried to suffer and persist through. And I know it sounds like I'm whining, which I feel like I kind of am, but in reality, I think my life is headed in a direction where it's gonna be alright. And I don't say that on a basis of nothing. I think generally there are opportunities forming in front of my eyes, and I'm taking them to the best of my ability. But every now and then, I still can't but help and feel like, yeah, I feel alone. And I think that's human. I think that's normal. I think everybody feels a little bit lonely every now and then. But for me, when I feel this way, it's like I can't do anything. It feels like I'm paralyzed by it. I just sit and I stare at my monitor and I do nothing. Because I'm waiting for some kind of like message or like text like, oh hey, what's up? How you doing? Are you okay? But I think in the past couple like months, I don't think one person's asked if I'm okay. And you know what? I think right now I answered that like, yeah, I am okay. But I keep saying but. You get it though. I want somebody out there to just go like, how you doing? And are you okay? And I'd say, yeah, I'm fine. Do you want to hang out or something? Maybe what I want is not necessarily I suppose, some relationship that I've made up in my mind for ages. I go on about it every, like, again and again and again, and I think that a relationship will not help me. Ironically enough, I'm recording this on Valentine's Day. You know, fun fact, my middle name is Valentine. I've never had a Valentine. That sounds sad, but I think it's also kind of funny. Anyways, back on track. I think what I seek is companionship, and I suppose a relationship has companionship. But not just that, when I seek companionship, I kind of just want somebody to be able to accommodate. And maybe I'm selfish, because I do have friends. I have a bloke that's always been there. But at the same time, I still feel this way. Because gradually and slowly, everybody's getting busy, and, well, there are days where nobody reaches out, and I suppose nobody's really online, nobody's really doing anything, I don't get called up, and I guess it's up to me. I suppose in reality, I'm just comfortable with staying stuck alone, and that's the issue. If anything, if I'm gonna make more friends, or find companionship, I'm obviously gonna need to put myself out there. But I'm not doing that because I suppose I'm too comfortable for my own good. Well, I suppose I just answered my own question. So, yeah, the desire to be seen is such a fascinating thing. I was originally going to discuss how I think they're different, but I think they're very similar at the same time. But loneliness is the absence of a presence. To be seen is for somebody to acknowledge you, and that's the main difference. I'm not lonely, but nor am I seen. And the more I go by day, I feel like it's harder for myself to express myself. That's a lot of where the issue stems from, for me. It's very difficult to express how I feel nowadays, and express that when I'm in a bad, like, spot. I just thug it out. I just go with the blows, go with the flow. Because for all my life, that's kind of all I knew. To follow the flow. I think nowadays, it's more that I have acquired courage now to keep staying strong, to keep moving forward, to keep growing. I'm not necessarily enlightened or motivated, but nor do I want to stay stuck where I am, and so I put in an effort. I'll always be grateful for myself for that, because even if that hard work had hurt me initially, it's always going to be part of me. Putting in hard work makes me feel a lot better, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep working hard, because at the end of the day, if I'm not seen, I can always see myself. You can always reassure that at the end of the day, if nobody else saw your achievements, you did. You made those achievements, and that in itself is a feat. Because there's a lot of people who like to sit in complacency and just accept that that's reality. But if you are to understand the grasp of reality that you have, and the struggle, the joy, the effort, and appreciate that on your own, that's strength. That's genuine power. And not like physique or not like your achievements. Being able to commend yourself for the effort you put in during the day and genuinely feel good about it. That's strength. Because I will never necessarily understand what that's fully like. I can do it every now and then. I might feel that way. But I've always measured myself based on results, and I need to grow from that. I suppose, I don't remember where I heard this, but measure yourself based on the feeling, I think somebody said out there. Measure yourself based on how much you feel. And that sounds really vague, and yeah, it does. I don't really know what it means either. Somebody else said this. I don't know who said this. But I think what they meant by that is that you value yourself based on the effort, the sweat and tears, and you look at your own effort and go like, yeah, I did good today. I can be proud of that. But I suppose a solution for you and I, who might feel this way, if you feel a similar way to me, is to try our best to see ourselves, and try our best to acknowledge that when we do put in the hard work, don't dismiss our own effort for something. Don't throw away and then go and look at your effort after making one mistake and just say it was worth nothing. I think I said this in a previous video, but you haven't lost until you've given up. So fail and fail again, but get back up until you see yourself. Anyways, Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As per usual, I do appreciate you guys watching these videos and, you know, coming out, spending your time watching some bloke, not a kid anymore, just talk and play games. I think as for the other content, I just would like to let you guys know this is a variety channel, and I make all kinds of videos that I just make what I feel like, basically. So some days it might be commentary, some days it might be gaming with friends, some days it might be Roblox, some days it might be Helldivers. I don't know. I just do whatever I like. But if you are following along with me, I appreciate that. And also, we hit 30 freaking subscribers. That's nuts. 30 people in a room watching some guy on the internet play games kind of baffles me, because like numbers are super inflated nowadays. Anyways, I'm going on, and I'm going on again. That's it, folks. See you later. Take care and goodbye. Drink water as well.